Ever since the 2016 election, Facebook has been under fire for allowing misinformation disguised as news. And time and again, the company has said it's taking the problem seriously. But in a recent interview, founder Mark Zuckerberg dealt his own credibility on this issue a serious blow. Adam has more.
We had to deal with spam, clickbait, fake news, and data misuse. That's going to change.
Facebook has been working to clean up its image for months, but it still gives a platform to content like this.
But it took me about a year with Sandy Hook to come to grips with the fact that the whole thing was fake.
Which is a blatant falsehood. Recently, tech journalist Kara Swisher asked CEO Mark Zuckerberg why he doesn't just ban InfoWars outright. His answer, quote, "It gets down to this principle of giving people a voice." And then Zuckerberg added this.
I'm Jewish, and there's a set of people who deny that the Holocaust happened,
yes,
right? I find that deeply offensive. But at the end of the day, I don't believe that our platform should take that down because I think that there are things that different people get wrong. Either I don't think that they're intentionally getting it wrong.
To which a cascade of critics said, "Are you kidding me?"
Holocaust denial is intentional. Holocaust denial is also the quickest tell for fascists and Nazis.
The fact that Mark Zuckerberg is having to clarify remarks he made about Holocaust deniers, that very sentence tells you the kind of trouble he's in.
Zuckerberg says Facebook will only remove false information that incites violence, like recent posts that spurred ethnic cleansing in Myanmar.
Enormous amount of hate speech went viral without Facebook putting in the kind of things that Zuckerberg is finally saying they're going to put in.
Problem is, when you get to that point, the damage is already done.
Yeah, I'm not at all clear. I mean, I understand the violence policy. That makes absolute sense. But you can make that argument about Holocaust deniers. You could certainly make that same argument about a lot of the stuff that InfoWars said, because they were onto the Pizzagate thing, too. That inspired violence in a way that no one could have imagined when the guy went to the pizza parlor and started looking for the pedophile ring run by Hillary Clinton. I mean, so it's crazy.
My big take, listening to what Zuckerberg had to say here, is that he is completely unprepared for the massive amount of responsibility he now has in the world today. He has not thought this stuff through as rigorously as he needs to. And I think he is hiding behind this idea of the need to give people a voice because he doesn't want to alienate potential customers. It's going to be bad for business if 30 or 40% of Americans or people worldwide think he's biased or unfair to them. So he's hiding behind the alleged need to give people like Alex Jones a voice because he wants to keep the money coming.
Zuckerberg often refers to Facebook as a utility. That's an important word. Pay attention to that because at root, let's say you were thinking of Facebook as if it were the phone company. Nobody would be criticizing the phone company because one neo-Nazi is calling another neo-Nazi. The phone company is understood to be a neutral platform, and there's nothing anybody can really do about that. But of course, we know that Facebook is metastasized into something much more than that.
They call it a news feed, Dan.
He calls it the news feed. It's a content company. It connects people, some very bad people. And he wants some of the protections of it being a traditional utility while getting the benefits and the profits and the advertising that you get from it being a content company. And he hasn't figured out how to reconcile those two things.
I think that's a really important distinction. It is a content company where, 98% of the content is user-generated. But unlike big portals like Yahoo, like Google, like Huffington Post, which are also at some point have been just content companies with user-generated content, there's no one editing, culling, sifting through, or blocking any of the stuff that's pouring into Facebook. And what Zuckerberg seems to be saying is that he doesn't want to be the one to decide that. And I think that's a difficult question. If he's the one who gets to decide, or his company is the one that gets to decide this is acceptable, this is not, what happens when someone else is in charge with different morals, different values, and different ideas of what's okay? Is suddenly any group that is suddenly the Women's March not acceptable content? Is suddenly breastfeeding not at all acceptable content? Is suddenly InfoWars
They're systematically false, though.
Exactly.
I mean,
so maybe that should be the line. Maybe it should be, is it demonstrably false?
Why?
Why should it, there's a platform that's been opened up for the public to play. It's a playground. Go there, post your pictures about your babies and your vacations and hateful stuff.
I agree.
There is absolutely no way that you can police that. You can't. You can make one rule, but then what about this? There will always be an exception. I think if there is a clear story or reference to go out and start killing people, that's a no-brainer. Okay, you can't have that on the platform. But I think that that's part of opening up a free speech, if you will, platform. People will say very ugly things and people will say nice things. You don't have to go there. You can go there if you want to, but we're not going to be the ones policing
So is the
what
question
happens
regulating the feed? How do you make sure that the hate speech isn't broadcast to everyone who's on the platform?
Well, it kills me to defend Zuckerberg even a little bit, but what he said, I should note that what he says should be done with InfoWars is people should flag things that are untrue. Facebook will pay attention to the flag, and then they'll make sure that that content isn't disseminated as aggressively as
And that makes sense, right? But I don't think that you should start deciding, well, maybe this kind of content can't be on the site.
So the market decides.
Let the market decide, yes.
Good idea.